Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's reading, we are calling forward the divine beings that love you unconditionally and just asking for the messages that you need most. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start with that very question. What do you need to know most? What is the divine dying, get it, to tell you? And then if that resonates, that'll serve as your energy check. Then you'll know you found the reading for you. But if what I'm talking about doesn't sound relevant to your life, then I would try a different pile. And so if you find that the first question is resonating, then we will move on and look at how the divine is already at work in your life. So this should be an extra layer of an energy check where you are able to recognize either through these cards or as confirmation just how the divine has been showing up, whether in synchronicities, in support, in helping you along, whatever that may be. Then we're going to look at how the divine wishes to connect with you, where you're conscious in that process. So this is not a requirement. This is not something that they're telling you that you have to do, but something that they would recommend and something that they would like you to do so that they can connect with you if you want to connect with them. Then we're going to look at blessings the divine is already bringing you, and I think that this is very important. The only thing you have to do is receive these blessings. That's it. And there's this stress on their end that these blessings are not something that you've earned. It's just something that is given freely because the divine loves you and wants to bless you. Then we're going to look at an aspect of yourself that the divine wants you to see as sacred, an aspect of self that maybe you have a hard time embracing or just don't even recognize is special about you. We're going to see what the divine wants to highlight around there. And then we are going to get guidance from your chosen deck / messenger. So with that being said, we have 3 different guidance decks that we're going to be choosing from today, and each guidance deck is a different face of the divine. So starting with pile 1, group 1, we are going to be using the, what is it called? It's Mother Mary. It's the Mother Mary Oracle, and the messenger for pile 1 will be Mother Mary. So we have that, and I have this fire quartz rose on top. And then for group number 2, the messenger is going to be the goddess Isis, and we're going to be using what is probably called the Isis Oracle. I will clarify that in the reading if I need to. And we have this piece of Libyan desert glass on top. And then finally for guidance, or group number 3, the guidance is going to be coming from Mother Earth herself. So if you are more drawn to nature, this might be your group. And I have this Malachite on top. Now, you can pick all 3 of these groups if you want to. If you're drawn to all of them, there could be messages in them for all of you. But I really like this division because I feel like, you know, we've got an earthy group, we've got an ascended master group, and we've got like a star group. So if you're drawn to the cosmos, you may want to choose group number 2. If you want to pick based on messenger, based on color, based on what you're drawn to, it really doesn't matter. But overall, it really doesn't matter what face of the divine you choose, just as long as you feel receptive to it and feel loved by it. So that's really what matters here. But once you've picked your pile or piles, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I will have all the timestamps listed for each group below. But with that being said, shout out to my intro squad. I bet y'all are still here. We are going to go ahead and look at our mini message and make a wish. So this is from my tarot candle line. This candle, my candles in my tarot candle line all come with a mini tarot card inside, in case you're unaware. And so we're going to look at that mini tarot card and use it as a mini message for everyone who stuck around for the intro. But if you are interested in getting any candles from my tarot line or just any candles from Angelic Magic 888 site, using code ASO10 for 10% off will be helpful. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at what our mini oh my gosh, I can't even hide my excitement. Okay, this is so beautiful. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to start by making our wish. So if you would like, first of all, can we just appreciate how beautiful this candle is? There is moonstone, I believe this is black obsidian or black tourmaline and carnelian, all wonderful energies for manifesting. I see this as a manifestation candle, so whatever you are manifesting or whatever wish you would like to infuse with this energy, if you need to pause and kind of focus your intentions, feel free to, but we're just gonna go ahead now and light it. I'm gonna make a little wish. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true for the highest good of all beings. Yay, okay. So with this 10 of Cups, the first phrase that came to mind is rising up against all odds. And so I feel like this 10 of Cups is a beautiful positive omen for anything that you've been worried about, or for any questions you've had about, will I really get to the finish line? Will I get where I need to be? Will I feel satisfied? Will I feel fulfilled? Yes, you will. It may not be right now, but it's coming. With this 10 of Cups, this is a confirmation that what you truly desire, or that what you're working towards, even if it's challenging, it will lead to fulfilling rewards. For some of you, I feel called to say that if you have a child or, you know, one on the way, this could be a sign that they are going to be a beautiful addition to the family, or that they are going to be healing in some way, is something I just heard. With this 10 of Cups as well, though, I feel like this is a beautiful sign that emotional fulfillment is coming your way. And I feel like the divine is already coming through with messages around not settling for less. And I feel like when this emotional fulfillment comes, you will understand why the divine wouldn't let you settle for less. This is a beautiful sign too of if you have a big event coming up. For some of you, I hear it's a wedding, and if you're in it, congratulations. Or just whatever big events you may have coming up that you're nervous about, this is a beautiful sign that they're going to go very well. I'm just hearing about something about being prepared, so just make sure you're as prepared as you can be. Other than that, though, with this 10 of Cups, this speaks to just emotional fulfillment and feelings of elation, completion, joy, harmony. And I feel like that's coming your way either through the actions you're taking directly, or through blessings coming your way, or through events happening in the near future. So that is your mini message. And now we are going to get into the big messages. So with that being said, I think I already said you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I have all the timestamps listed below. And then once you have picked your pile or piles, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Fire Quartz Rose and the Mother Mary Oracle, then this is going to be your reading on messages from the divine. So we're going to start by shuffling your guidance card that we're going to use at the end of the reading. I just feel like it's more magical to shuffle it beforehand and then go through the whole reading and then see what it says. I just find there's always magic synchronicities and stuff like that. So really just focus your energy on the cards as I'm shuffling. The messenger you chose is Mother Mary, so that's who this message will be coming from. And you can just pray that Mother Mary gives you the message aligned with your highest good. Now, the rest of the reading does not have to be from Mother Mary. You can make it that way, or just any other beings of divinity that love you. I have a feeling there's more than just Mother Mary, so with that what you will. But Mother Mary, who loves Pile 1 and I unconditionally, what message do you have for Pile 1? What guidance and message do you have for Pile 1 that could be most aligned with their highest good at this time? Okay, we're going to leave this bad boy off to the side, and we're going to go ahead now and look at your energy checks. So, to start, we are going to look at what the divine / Mother Mary needs you to know the most, and other divine beings. So if this part resonates, you found the right reading. If it doesn't, I would try a different pile. So to start, we have rapture, devotion, love, sensuality, romance, ecstasy, pleasure. We have making waves, momentum is building, it's your time, achievement, And we have Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. Yeah, there's definitely more than just Mother Mary here. But Mother Mary is an Ascended Master, and there are Ascended Masters on the Council of Light. So there could be other Ascended Masters here. But with that being said, this is a really beautiful message that I'm super excited to give you, Pile 1. This is a sign, like, forgive me, but I just have to say it, like, everything is gonna be coming up Milhouse for you. And if you've never seen The Simpsons, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a character named Milhouse, and you know, things don't go right for him very often. So, you know, when things do, you know, he can say very cute things like everything's coming up Milhouse. And I think everything's actually going to be coming up Pile 1. And the divine is here to let you know that we're going to make sure of it, actually. The fact that we have rapture and making waves here, I feel like there is this beautiful shift you're already entering and that you're going to continue to enter, where life is just getting a lot sweeter, and it's finally time for you to shine. It's time for you to take risks. It's time for you to be recognized, to be seen for your accomplishments that you've made already. And also for a lot of you, if you've been manifesting love or romance or renewal in that, you are going to be experiencing that. I was gonna finish that with other words and then I just got stopped. But this rapture is so much more than that. This is a healing around your sensuality, around accepting pleasure, around allowing yourself to feel pleasure. And that's not just like in a sexual context, which is highlighted here, but like pleasure in all ways. You know, if you're the type of person to, you know, shy away from the sweeter aspects of life, or even if you're not, even if you do tend to indulge in the sweeter aspects of life, but you don't let yourself truly enjoy them, there's a shift happening where you're either allowing yourself to enjoy the sweeter aspects of life more, or you're enjoying the sweeter aspects of life without shame, finally. I feel like this is a time where your energy is strengthening, and also where you're becoming more unapologetic about accepting the gentleness and sweetness of life. I feel like for a lot of you, this could be a very positive time for meeting potential romantic partners, or if you're seeing someone, this could be a sign that your relationship with them is deepening. If you already have a partner, like I said, this could be a time where you both are getting more intimate on a physical level, or discovering new aspects of intimacy, or deepening that intimate relationship. I feel like no matter what, there is just this opportunity to start to embrace the pleasure that being in a body allows you to experience. If you are the type of person who is typically disconnected from their body, this is a beautiful time where you are getting to experience the polarity of pleasure and not just pain. I also feel like this is just a time that is positive for any creative endeavors, any work endeavors, or any personal growth endeavors. Like, this is just your time to fully embrace being alive and living in your truth, and your heart-centered truth is one thing that I'm hearing specifically. This is a time about reclaiming what's been denied to you through conditioning and through shame and through just the distortions of others. And this is also a time of you owning and claiming that success, in these positive experiences, in a way where you're actually savoring them and appreciating them and living them to the fullest, rather than, you know, being dissociated from those experiences and wondering, am I really deserving of this, or is this really worth it? Can this really happen? It can happen, and it will happen, and it will be even more likely to happen should you continue trusting yourself. For those of you that have been doing a lot in terms of like your own spiritual path, and coming into union with yourself, I feel like that is unfolding beautifully. This is just a beautiful time where you're seeing your own beauty, the beauty in the world, and the smaller things are going to mean so much more. The big things are going to be incredible, and it's just like everything is sweeter right now. And the divine wants you to know that this is not something that you had to earn or prove that you're worthy of. This is just something that you'll finally be able to receive because you've done the healing work to allow yourself to be open to it in the first place. I feel like there is this kind of idea that we don't deserve to enjoy things, or that like we have to earn feeling good or earn pleasure, and that's just not true. And I feel like you are starting to understand that. Like, there are many people who are not grateful and do not care at all about being good to others, that are sensual beings and that experience a lot of pleasure. And it's because, you know, the divine doesn't revoke pleasure based on how good you are, how moral you are. Like, pleasure is neutral. It's just part of being in a body, and it's part of having nerve endings and being in a physical form. And so if you haven't felt that ever, haven't felt, you know, the positive limits of what pleasure can bring you, or if you haven't felt what it's like to be a sensual being unapologetically, I feel like this is the time where that's happening. I also think that if you have known what that has felt like, but you've been disconnected from it, you're reconnecting to that. I feel like the biggest thing here is there is an urge for you to be less, one, hard on yourself, and two, isolated when it comes to making this happen. I feel like the divine is reminding you that they are watching over you and that they want to help you, but also that they are here to help if you ask. So maybe just like praying once a day to the beings that love you unconditionally, or just asking them. You don't have to pray, you can just ask. It's kind of the same thing, that they just support you in all ways for your highest good, and just say thanks. Like, the big thing here is that you cannot push these beautiful blessings away, and you cannot ruin them. And they are not a reward for, I guess, like they're not a reward in general. They're just what you're able to access because you've done the healing work to get there. And I guess in our linear minds, that could be seen as a reward. It's like, we've done the work and now we get the thing. But I feel like what the divine is really stressing is that, like, you shouldn't have had to do that work in the first place. The reason why you had to is because you were born, and because we live in a society, and society is societying, and in that process we get disconnected from our bodies, believe that it's shameful to experience pleasure, believe that it's wrong, believe that we must earn pleasure, or must earn feeling good, or earn doing things for ourselves. And I feel like there's this emphasis on you unlearning that and realizing that, like, it doesn't matter, you know, how you feel about yourself. You are still allowed to feel good, and you are still allowed to prioritize experiences that, you know, support your pleasure and that support what makes you feel good. And so I feel like, you know, the divine is saying, we're helping you through this process, and we want you to embrace it unapologetically and not feel like it's something that will be taken away from you, or something that is a reward. It's just something that has always been available to you, but maybe you just haven't always been able to access because of where you've been at in those places in space and time. So if that resonates, we're gonna go ahead now and get into your tarot. So I'm using the Age of Aquarius Tarot deck for each group. And essentially, we're gonna start by looking at how these helpers in the subtler realms, this Council of Light, how the divine has already been supporting you. So I'm just gonna move these over a little bit because they don't need to be, let that Nash Ten of Cups standing out. Okay. Just give these a little shuffle. While I'm shuffling, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who leaves me the time to leave a little like, a comment, a subscribble. That stuff helps me more than you realize. Same with just letting the ads play in the background. Like, that stuff helps me so much. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone who does that. And that you rock. And that is one way to just exchange energy with me and express gratitude. So if you want to, those are free ways to do it. And thank you. But you don't have to do anything. I'm just grateful that you're here and that you exist and are willing to be open to the messages the divine has for you. So, okay. Let's start by seeing, oof, the divine was like, I have been at work and you need to know about it. Okay. We have this Page of Cups. So how the divine has already been at work in your life, which that is the question. And I'm going to pull another card since it popped out. Spirit, the divine / the divine beings, spirit / the divine, same thing. How have you already been at work in pile one's life, please? Okay. Yeah, okay. So we have the Four of Cups and the Page of Cups. So I feel like this is if you have been stuck in a place of apathy or just stuck in a place emotionally of feeling kind of blah, I feel like the divine has been at work in your life by helping you reconnect with not only like your childlike self, but with the sweetest, most fantastical, dreamy parts of yourself. The parts of yourself that, you know, used to have big dreams and used to cherish the little things and that just had a very rose-colored view of the world. I feel like the divine is coming back to say, hey, you know, the divine has been working to help you reopen to that part of yourself in a way that, you know, doesn't push away the darkness you've experienced or doesn't invalidate that, but rather is like the healing balm necessary to recognize that, like, yes, the darkness is here. Yes, we experience darkness, but like it's this curiosity and wonder for life and this, you know, vision for the future that keeps us going and that, you know, reminds us like why the struggle is worth it. And I feel like with this Page of Cups here, you've probably been getting visions that are like very spontaneous of your future or of things you want to experience, and you feel a lot of like inward momentum towards them. I feel like the divine has been helping you break out of emotional patterns that don't serve you, especially like emotional flatness, and helping you get into a state that is more creative, more spontaneous, more light, and just less hard on yourself. Like that is the big thing here, is like I definitely think a lot of you guys are very hard on yourself, and sometimes you don't see when the solution is right in front of you. And so I feel like this Page of Cups is coming back in a way where I feel like you're healing your relationship with your inner child and also healing your relationship with your heart center. And I feel like the divine wants to also highlight the fact that you've been doing this a lot on your own, and that the divine has just been supporting you, and they want you to know that you know, the things you've already asked for and the effort and healing that you've already put in, they want you to know like it's not just them, like it's you too. Like you are the reason why this stuff has been able to happen, and they want you to give yourself credit for the work that you've done. So that's just really awesome. So I want to see now how the divine wishes to connect with you. So you're not required to do this, but if you want to connect with the divine beings that love you more consciously, we're going to see how they want to connect with you or how they think you could connect with them effectively. So divine beings that love pile one, how can they connect? How can pile one connect with you consciously? Okay, got 2 cards. So we have the Page of Pentacles and the Devil. So the way that you can connect with the divine, this is really interesting, is by being more conscious, or not being, well, I guess being more conscious, but also being more present with your personal development. The fact that we have the Page of Pentacles here and the Devil, the divine wants to be with you in those moments of struggle when you have the choice between making the decision that will bring you closer to where you want to be and the decision that will keep you where you are. The divine wants to be there in those moments of, I feel like make or break is too tense, but make or break in terms of that moment where you're headed. The divine wants to be a more constant friend with you as you work through these patterns of undoing what has kept you trapped or what has made you feel blocked. And, you know, the interesting thing about the Devil is that, you know, we look at the Devil as bad, right? And there are a lot of things in human religious belief systems that demonize aspects of the human experience or make them seem evil or wrong, or like you can't explore them. And I feel like the divine wants to help you heal your relationship with certain things that you felt cut off from, or that you felt like you weren't allowed to have out of fear that you would be a bad person if you did. And the divine wants to kind of be there with you so that you realize like there is divinity in everything. And, you know, whether something is good or bad is a personal judgment and a personal perspective. You know, everything serves the divine. And I feel like the divine wants to be with you in those moments when you want to dissociate from your problems, and instead help you be present with yourself even when it's uncomfortable, so that you realize like, wow, okay, not only can I handle this, but also it's so empowering to be present with my struggles, to be present with, you know, the feelings that have caused me to make decisions I'm not proud of. They almost just want you to welcome them in the times when you want to run away from yourself. And the times that you just can't stand to look at yourself, or can't stand to even think about, you know, making the choice you know you need to make, or doing the thing that you know would help you feel better. And even if you can't get yourself to do the thing, to just ask the divine to be with you while you move through the discomfort. I feel like they're really just asking you to realize that they don't judge you whatsoever. You know, the only judgments that you perceive from them are the ones that you judge yourself for, and are the ones that maybe you've been taught, you know, that you're being judged on. And those aren't the truth. You know, humans created those judgments, not the divine. The divine doesn't have ego, so they can't be offended when, you know, you don't answer their call or you don't listen to their message. They love you anyway. It's unconditional. And they want you to start seeing that through the fact that they are not going to abandon you when things get tough. And in fact, they can be a support system when things get tough. So what they really want is just to be a part of your conscious living experience more, whether that's through invoking them or through asking for their help, especially when you're struggling, or just like creating rituals or routines that allow them to be a more present part of your life, whether that's meditating, journaling, whatever it may be. They just want to help you realize that they're always with you no matter what, but consciously inviting them in helps you be consciously aware of what the divine feels like for you and how it shows up in your life. And it seems like it's showing up a lot in your imagination and in your heart space through visions. I also think rabbits, like bunnies, and fish, maybe specifically koi fish, could be indicative of like guides or just signs that they're around you, as well as roses. And I really do think that they are wanting to help you with, and this is more of a specific message, if you are the type of person, they want to redefine the concept of what the devil is. It's not necessarily what human society says it is or what we believe it to be. A lot of times it's just the things that chain us that keep us from being self-actualized, that keep us from being, you know, the most aligned versions of ourselves, the most authentic and the most expansive versions of ourselves. They just want to help you move through blockages and help you sit with yourself and realize like you're not a bad person for having flaws. You are not, you know, unworthy of love because you have flaws. Like, would you look at a flower and be like, you're less beautiful because that petal isn't perfectly straight? Like, no, you don't think about that. You just are like, wow, what a pretty flower. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the divine is really working hard on helping you reestablish healthy patterns of thinking and doing in your life that support the person you're becoming, rather than chain you to a past you don't identify with. So let's see now blessings the divine is already bringing you. So these blessings, like I said earlier, you don't have to do anything to receive them, to earn them. They are yours precisely because the divine wants to bless you with them. So what blessings are coming to pile one that all they have to do is receive, please? We have the Seven of Pentacles, hard work, perseverance, authentic self. So this blessing is seeing the results of your hard work, seeing the results of what you've been planting seeds towards in the past, and also just getting reinforcement either from the divine or from like your physical experience that is confirming to you that you're on the right path and to keep going. So for example, these could be, you could be receiving like, you know, money back based on what you've put in, like if you've invested in things. This could also be you know, something that you've put a lot of time and energy to is starting to grow. Or if you've been on the healing path for a long time, you're starting to see the benefits of your hard work, and you're starting to see like, oh, there's these new versions of me coming out that I didn't even realize were there, that, you know, want to be with me, want to support me, want to nourish me. And the beautiful thing is that you are going to see the blessing of just the power of your own will, and how continuing to show up for yourself and continuing to do the work, even when it's hard, and even when the work means play, I feel like you are going to be getting the blessing of seeing yourself more clearly than you ever have before, and realizing that the true you is not any fixed version of you, but it's an unfoldment, and one that's constantly evolving, and one that, you know, you've already gotten the blessing of seeing, you know, some beautiful aspects of self, but that's going to continue and expand even more. You know, your authentic self is, you're going to realize, is no one label, is no group of labels. It is the infinite, and it is divine in of itself. And I think what's beautiful as well with this 7 is, I think you're going to start seeing the divine more consciously in your earthly experience. We can often see this through synchronicities. Psychology likes to call it confirmation bias. No matter what you see it as, you're going to be seeing evidence of the divine more clearly in the world around you, and it's going to be a confirmation of like, wow, yeah, I've shifted, I've changed. But also like not just within you, but like around you as well. Like the way people respond to you is going to be more open, is going to be lighter, is going to reflect the healing that you've done as well. And I think you're going to realize, like, part of the blessing is you're going to realize like, wow, I've already cultivated so many of these blessings by the hard work I did in the past. And also I'm being blessed in a way where I'm being more open to the benefits of the hard work that I already put in, the benefits of what I've been creating, and truly enjoying and appreciating them, rather than being worried that I'm going to lose them, or that they're going to fall away, or that I'm not truly deserving of them. This is very, very beautiful energy. And I really think that there's going to be a slowing down in your life where you don't feel like you need to keep rushing, but that in fact you're on the right wave and you're flowing exactly as you're meant to. And I feel like there's going to be this excitement of like, wow, I can't wait to see who I continue to become, and what parts of me I've left unexplored, and where I'm meant to go. I feel like you are going to have a renewal of faith in yourself and in your path and in the divine and where you're headed. Like, I promise there's a lot of beautiful blessings that have kind of been highlighted in these 3 oracle cards, but I feel like Spirit's kind of staying a little bit silent specifically on what these blessings are, mainly because they don't want to derail you or distract you, and they just want you to continue to stay focused, and they also want you to be surprised. So I love that. But now we're going to look at an aspect of self that the divine wants to highlight as sacred. So Spirit, what aspect of pile 1 do you want to highlight as a sacred aspect of themselves? What aspect of pile 1 is divine? Ah, beautiful. We have temperance. So higher purpose, equilibrium, divine guidance. If you have any Sagittarius placements in your birth chart, you may want to look at those, because they could have special messages for who you're becoming, or they could have like guidance for where you're meant to head. But this temperance card, they are highlighting the fact that you are neither all human or all spirit, you're both. The aspect of self that they want you to understand as sacred is all of your polarities, the light aspects of you, the dark aspects of you, the aspects of yourself that you have released that are no longer a part of you. Those are just as sacred as the parts that you're bringing in. Everything about you is sacred, and what they want to help you cultivate is sacred balance. So for example, if you're the type of person who's very all or nothing, or if you're used to doing things that way, I feel like you're discovering a part of yourself that really thrives through balance, and the divine wants you to know that the more balanced you are, the more you'll be able to move towards your purpose. But also, you have a connection to these higher realms. And oh my gosh, like, look at this. This Temperance card. Notice there's no like top star anywhere except in this Temperance card, and it's literally coming down from the divine realms. And so maybe you oftentimes shrug off the guidance that you get, or explain away the synchronicities that you get with like, oh, it's just confirmation bias. It doesn't matter what term you use it as, like whatever term you put it under, like it's still true for you. And I feel like there are things that the divine whispers to you that you invalidate and that you don't trust. And I feel like the divine is wanting you to know that your inner voice is not only sacred, but it's tapped into divine realms, and you will know you can trust divine guidance when it feels safe in your heart. Your heart is the best tool of discernment, and I feel like that's probably something that you've been working on getting into more, is your heart space. But also with this Temperance card being here, I feel like Spirit is just really highlighting that you are someone who needs more time to... You're the tortoise, not the hare. Does that make sense? And I feel like in a world that really values the hare and going really fast, it's easy to beat ourselves up and feel like we're behind or that we're not doing enough. And what the divine is telling you is that you are enough and your pace is perfect. You don't need to try and rush. And in fact, rushing is going to just not cause you to fall behind, but you know, the time that you think you're saving is the time that you're going to use recovering from, you know, the time you spent pushing yourself. So the divine is wanting you to know that your own sense of timing and your own flow is sacred. And just because it doesn't match the world's timing doesn't mean it's off or wrong. It just means that the world is, one, going way too fast for people right now. And two, you know, what helps you thrive is not always what's going to be connected to mainstream society. And that's not only okay. Oh, yeah, see, you're the little turtle right there. What's always connected to the mainstream isn't always what's best for you. In fact, more often than not, in general, what is mainstream is not beneficial for humans. But, you know, that's the beautiful thing about following your higher purpose and following your own flow, is that you're less susceptible to manipulation or to distortions of collective consciousness, of mass media, and instead you're following your own inner rhythms. They also, though, are just really highlighting the fact that there is no part of you that you need to be ashamed of or feel like is wrong. Like, every part of you, your strengths and your weaknesses, are part of your divinity, and we all have them, and they're not something to be ashamed of. And they want you to understand that, like, you know, the flaws and the parts of self that you shame are just as divine as the parts of yourself that you love and that you are proud of. So just know that. But with that being said, we have... Well, I looked at the back of the deck just to see, and we have the Empress. And I did notice that all of your cards are very feminine. So I do feel like there is a divine feminine healing happening, which is very fitting. But also one with nature. You may want to spend more time in nature. You may find that healing. And I feel like that's an important... I feel like nature could really help you trust your own inner rhythms, because, like, it doesn't matter how quickly we want things to happen. Nature goes by its own rhythms, and you're not going to see summer in the middle of winter, and you're not going to, well, with climate, I mean, you shouldn't see summer in winter. If you do, there might be something wrong. But what this is really saying is that nature could remind you the fact that, like, you need time for things to unfold, and that you can't treat yourself like a machine, or, like, you know, or just treat yourself poorly in general because you think you should be at a different spot. But let's go ahead now and see what guidance card and what message Mother Mary has for you. So we have, ooh, beautiful. We have Our Lady of Creative Choice. So Let's see what she has to say for us. Okay, Our Lady of Creative Choice. And this is the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Highly recommend anything Alana Fairchild has created. She's just a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic creator and channel. We stand Alana Fairchild on this channel. So, Mother Mary says, "You have my power within you, and you are free beyond wildest imagination. Do you know that you are a slave to no thing and no one? You are a divine being. With the power of creative choice, you can create worlds, my beloved. Even the smallest choice contains great creative power." Ooh, so see what I was saying about like the divine wants to be with you in those make or break moments where you can create a positive solution or you can create more of the same thing. And no matter what choice you choose, having the divine be with you no matter what through that process. So even if you do choose the thing that's comfortable and familiar and safe, rather than beating yourself up for that and being like, I knew I couldn't do it, saying, I wasn't ready today, and that's okay. But I pray that the divine is with me through this process, and I pray for grace for myself, and give yourself that too. And if you can't, pray for it so that you can give it to yourself. You know what I mean? Do not cast your power aside, my child. Choose to trust me. Live with an open, vulnerable heart, and let my grace flood through you in rapturous waves of light. Choose wisely, creatively, and well. Yet do not fear your power, for the best choice you can make is to learn from all your experiences. I will guide you to use your power to create a healing difference in your life now. You have at your disposal the power of heaven. I will guide you to use it well. One small stone tossed into a lake can create seemingly endless ripples. So too do our choices create an impact far greater than we might at first expect. Our Lady of Creative Choice has come to you with a message. No matter what situation is happening in your life, no matter how powerless you may feel to change it or control it, you have so much power here. If you knew how much power you had, you would laugh with relief, wonder, and reverent joy. And the reason why I paused was because I got a vision. It reminds me of in The Wizard of Oz when the Wicked Witch of the West is threatening Dorothy. Glinda laughs and goes, nonsense, you have no power here. Like, she's not bothered at all. She's like, be gone. You have no power here. And it works. Like, you want to look at an unproblematic queen, look no further than Glinda. Now, that being said, I have not read Wicked or anything like that, so anyway. You would realize that you don't have to control anything or anyone in order to feel empowered. Your power doesn't come from controlling outcomes. It flows from your endless capacity to make choices. Yes! Our Lady of Creative Choice helps us when we know that the way we have been choosing to be, perhaps feeling reactive or out of control, might not be serving us anymore. Perhaps we have not felt much choice in the past. Perhaps we might have got caught up in feeling frustrated with another or out of control in certain situations, and all we felt we could do was react. Or perhaps we have become so caught up in just trying to get things done or work things out that we forgot that we have a say in our lives. This oracle comes to you as a reminder. You have the power of heaven within you. You don't need to control life, beloved, but you can choose whether you dance with life responsively, or resist its flow and feel pushed around by it instead. And maybe the responsive thing is to be irresponsible. I don't know. Only you know, and that's a part of this power, is trusting your own inner knowing. Through paying attention to what is happening for you in the moment, whether that be feelings of happiness or sadness, a feeling of letting go or moving on, or staying put and learning something, you can then make a choice about how you wish to respond. Your responses to your life circumstances are your choices to make and a source of great power within. You can receive any visitor into your home with a welcoming smile or a bellow of rage, a laugh or a clear directive to move on. It is always your choice, and the right choice will be what feels right for you in any given moment. A smile might feel right one day, and the rage feels right in another situation on another day. It is always your choice, and your choice creates a pattern of energy that interacts with what is, creatively igniting change. You don't have to control it or foresee it. You just need to remember to choose creatively, and most importantly of all, with honesty, how you wish to be. Our Lady of Creative Choice comes to you in this oracle with a special message. There is a situation in your life where you are contemplating making a decision. Perhaps it is even a bold choice and you are not sure about it. You are encouraged to be bold and to give yourself permission to choose whatever feels most authentic to you. If you are stuck in a situation and don't believe that you have a choice, this oracle brings you this particular message. You have a choice available here, but you must surrender your way of looking at the situation to the Divine Mother and allow a new perspective, and therefore more options to become available to you. There is always a creative way forward available. Sometimes we need prayer to help us become more flexible and receptive to access that solution. The following healing process will help you rediscover your power of creative choice, even in that challenging situation, through the divine intervention of the Holy Mother Mary. And that's exactly why I wanted to shuffle it at the very beginning, because that is like magic. Like, yes, all about choices. So this healing process, I'm gonna hold it up like this, and you may want to screenshot it. I'm gonna keep it up for a little while. You may want to screenshot it, hold on to it, pause it, do it now. But if you're the type of person that really likes to go within, you may want to record this, because it's more powerful to do this healing in your own voice. And listen, trust me, as someone who puts their voice out, listening to my own can be hard, but eventually it gets less painful, and it can be very powerful to hear your own voice be the facilitator of your healing. But if you don't want to do that, you can just go through the healing process here, however works best for you. Or if this healing process doesn't call to you, you could pray for the divine to show you what healing process will work for you. But pile 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. Like I said earlier, that's one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, leave me a like or a subscribe. Shout out to my notification squad. Shout out to my notification squad, yeah, and my intro squad. I was scared I forgot a squad. I was like, my squads. You can check out my merch, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my social media. You can check out my other videos or another pile. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this piece of Libyan desert glass and the Isis Oracle, this is going to be your reading on messages from the divine. So what I'm going to do first is shuffle your guidance card from Isis, since you chose her as your messenger of guidance for the end. So we're going to shuffle this card, but we're going to leave it face down until the end. Just to see how the reading comes together. So if you want, just focus your energy and intentions on the deck while I'm shuffling it, and just ask that the goddess Isis, that loves you unconditionally, give you the message that's most aligned with your highest good. And if you don't, I will for you. So, beloved goddess Isis, who loves humanity unconditionally, what message do you have for pile 2 that could be aligned with their highest good, could bring them closer to themselves and the world around them, please? Okay, beautiful. So we will leave that bad boy there until the end of the reading. So let's go ahead now and start by looking at your oracles and see what the divine, so this doesn't have to just be goddess Isis, though she is lumped in with the divine, but any beings of divinity that love you unconditionally, and see what they want you to know. If this resonates, this part resonates, then this reading is for you. If not, I would try a different pile. So we have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. We have beneath the surface, what's really driving you, true motives, breaking free. And we have open, say yes, expand through extremes, trust life. Okay, getting some High School Musical songs immediately. I think just breaking free just triggered that inside of me, and like my brain just can't like sing we're soaring, we're flying. But that song could be significant. But also the Status Quo song. I'm not very well versed on High School Musical. I refused to enjoy it when it came out, when I was the age I was supposed to enjoy it, because I was not like other girls, and I absolutely refused to enjoy things that were popular. So my High School Musical limited knowledge is limited. But yeah, that could be there for you. Anyway, what you need to know most is that it's time to change, and not in a way that is destructive or forceful or harmful to you, or that brings you shame or makes you feel bad, but one that is just honest and gentle and full of truth. Pile 2, it seems like this message came to you today because you've either been running on empty for quite a long time or pushing yourself in a way that doesn't serve you for far too long. And if you don't make a change, your body or your spirit is going to make that change for you, because you just are not able to continue doing what you're doing and be healthy and balanced. The fact that we have deep replenishment here, I can definitely see that you really need time to rest. And the thing is you might be like, well, I do rest. Well, is that rest physical? When you're resting physically, are you scrolling on your phone or spending every waking moment with media or stimulation? Because the type of rest that you need may not be physical. It might be mental. It might be emotional. For a lot of us, it's likely mental. Mental rest is super important, and you can't get mental rest if you don't give your brain a break. So there is a call for you to look at what parts of me need nourishment and get honest about that, because it may be that, like, for example, if you're extremely fatigued but your body isn't tired, it's likely that your mind is, and your mind needs rest and needs the opportunity to slow down. You know, I don't know what brainwaves our brain is in when we're on social media and doom scrolling and things like that, but what I do know is that when I slow down, I notice a shift when I start like consuming social media. Like I feel my brain shift back into like a rate of braining that's just too fast and uncomfortable and anxiety inducing within me. And so I really do think that if you don't know what it's like to not feel the way that you do and be exhausted by it, that's all the more reason why it's time to start. I feel like no matter what though, it doesn't have to be mental rest, but more than anything, whatever you've been pushing towards, or not everything you've been pushing towards, but certain things that you've been pushing towards that are not authentic to you, that are not true to you, are showing you the fact that they're not meant for you and that they can't serve you. The fact that we have beneath the surface and open, the divine wants you to face reality as it is and realize that it seems like you're not doing things from a place of love, but doing things from a place of trying to prove yourself or trying to please others, or really anything other than honoring yourself. It seems like a lot of the decisions that you've been making have not only been draining you, but haven't honored the authenticity of what you want to do and who you want to be in your life. The universe wants you to start saying no to what doesn't work for you so that you can start saying yes to what does. I feel like what you're headed towards is a period of rest where creative inspiration and certainty in your path are going to diminish a lot. Oh my God, speaking of certainty in your path, while I finished pile 1's reading and I wanted to get some tea before I started yours, and my little tea thing says the unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. And so I really felt like that was meant for you. It's tangerine tea, if you're wondering. It's really yummy. But I really do feel like if you already know what doesn't work, you can't lose by trying something differently. And I really think what you need is just slowing down. And I bet that's the last thing you want to hear. I bet you were coming to this reading, well, not all of you, but some of you were expecting me to be like, you need to work harder and you need to do more and you need to push yourself. No, actually, you need to do all of the opposite of those things. You need to work hard at not forcing yourself to work hard. You need to push yourself harder to do even less. Whatever that may mean for you, there's just a real calling here for you to face reality, and the reality that however you're living is unsustainable and unfair to you. You're a human being, not a human doing. And I think that you're either a human doing or a human consuming, and whatever, and you know, consumption isn't a bad thing inherently. It just is when it's not balanced with creation or with rest. And so I really think that the divine is coming to let you know that we're not going to let you continue these unhealthy patterns of behavior, because we love you enough to know that life can be so much more enjoyable, can flow so much more easily, and take way less energy when you trust where life is leading you and where your heart is leading you. I feel like you don't trust yourself, and that is a huge inhibitor to you being able to honor the decisions that you know would make you feel good. But that is why trust is something that is built. I feel like the universe wants you to start building that trust by giving yourself like that unapologetic time for rest, and resting with discipline. So for example, if you know you need mental rest and you're in the middle of doom scrolling, that's when you say, okay, we need to set a limit here, or let me get this out for 2 more minutes and then I'm done. Like, you need to have some sort of alternative, and like maybe you still need stimulation, so read a book instead. I know, heaven forbid, a book in this day and age, and dude, books are awesome. Like, even if you need 5 books and around you, and you alternate between the books based on your interest level, like, social media has fried our brains in terms of like what is healthy and normal and what isn't. And I think that in that process of slowing down, like, it will be hard to break free of those, you know, mental patterns that we chain ourselves to, but it's worth it and it's okay. I feel like the universe is asking you to just be open to doing things differently, and to realizing that like you cannot love yourself if you're consistently depleting yourself, consistently betraying yourself through your choices, and consistently not advocating for yourself and your needs. And you may not know how to advocate for yourself and your needs because you don't even know what those needs are, which is why you need to slow down, so that you can look at yourself, so that you can realize what kind of nourishment you need. And you may not know what kind of nourishment you need, so then you need to try different things. Like, it's a process. And look at me talking so fast. It's because you've been going so fast. And it's like, yeah, of course you don't know what you need, because you haven't even spent enough time with yourself to realize what's depleted. And I don't say that to shame you. I say that to be like, yeah, it's logical that it would overwhelm you, that rest would overwhelm you, that finding the solutions for what would work for you is overwhelming or undesirable. It's because it's unfamiliar, it's different, and there is a part of you that is clearly operating from a place of lack, or from a place of, you know, just insecurity, or not being good enough, or feeling like you have to uphold something or shoulds. Whatever the reason is, it's not rooted in love, and it's not loving towards you, and it's not helpful or healthy. And so what the divine is really saying is it's time to be honest about what's motivating you and why, and ask yourself if that's really productive, because those truths are not going to break you. They're going to break the habits and patterns that don't serve you. And you can only do that by being honest with yourself. But also, it will set you free to the truth. Like, the truth does set you free. And the truth is what allows you to do things differently. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't change. So what Spirit is really saying too is that any changes you're called to make, they will feel good. And they won't be hard. Like, they may be hard in their creation and in making them a habit, but it'll be so much easier for it to be a habit, or to create these habits, once you realize how good they feel. Like, for me, I used to never exercise consistently, but once I found like a type of exercise that worked for me and that I genuinely enjoyed and, you know, made me feel good, it became a part of my daily routine. Like, for example, I love doing yoga with Adrienne. She's an awesome yoga channel on YouTube. Like, she has incredible, like, so many videos. Like, I'm pretty sure like over 700 yoga videos, and they're all fantastic for like all different types of, you know, bodies. Like, she has all different types of accommodations. Like, if you're just trying to get in your out of your head and into your body, I think she's a great place to start. She literally has yoga for like mental health. And one of the things that I really like about her is the fact that it's not about rigorous, intense exercise for the sake of it. It's about being conscious and intentional with you know, your positions and with your breathing and with your movement. It just helps you check in with yourself. So not sponsored or anything. I just think she's fantastic. And for those of you that have a hard time being in your body or even being present with it, that might be a great place to start, and it's a free resource. So I thought I would throw it out there. But no matter what, love is asking you to be kinder and more open to yourself, because you can't truly love yourself if you're not even willing to sit with yourself and see what your body, your emotions, your energy, your mind has to say to you. And I think that what Spirit is really saying is that life, trying to keep life the same is only going to make it harder and wear you out more. Like, this change is going to happen no matter what. And it'll be far more empowering for you to make that change rather than be so defeated that you have no choice but to surrender. But you can choose either. There is empowerment no matter what in making a change. But more than anything, you deserve to feel at peace. And if you don't know what peace feels like, that is important. If you don't know what it is like to truly rest, it's time to learn that. It seems like you know how to work extremely hard. It seems like you know how to push yourself to the brinks of extremes, but maybe you've never explored extreme rest, extreme self-care, like radically choosing you. Maybe that's an extreme you need to explore, and maybe it's one that you'll have no choice but to explore. I don't know. None of us can really know that except for you and the universe. But what I do know is that life is happening for you, and life is not going to reward you for hurting yourself or, you know, making the decisions that keep you stuck as a version of yourself that isn't you. You deserve to act, to take action from a place of authenticity, from a place of love, from a place of truth, rather than a place of fear or uncertainty or whatever is driving you currently. What Spirit is really saying is that you might be telling yourself you're doing things for certain reasons, but if you really sit with it and look at it, you're going to realize that's not actually the truth and that there's something deeper going on. So, and you can't do that unless you've given yourself time and space to rest. So it may be a process of you taking the time to rest and nourish yourself, and then starting to look at what's been driving you more clearly when you're not, you know, sleep deprived or exhausted or drained. And then, you know, those truths revealing themselves to you, then now that you have that replenishment, being able to be open and say, okay, this is the truth and I see it now. How can I be there for myself and how can I support myself? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into your tarot now. And so if that resonates, hello, welcome to your reading. The biggest thing I want to tell you is that everything's going to be okay. Like, no matter what you choose, no matter how you go about things, everything's going to be okay. The divine is just giving you this message in a bit of a stern way, just to make you realize, like, one, you're being way too hard on yourself, and two, resting, it will feel like a punishment if you refuse to let go of it, because you may literally make yourself sick or make yourself so exhausted your body or your mind just refuses to move forward, and then you have to really take more time for yourself. So I feel like the universe is like, hey, we can make this change now. We don't have to go as far as maybe you could go with this if you want to choose something different. But if you need to be pushed to the brink to learn, then you do, and that's okay. I feel like Spirit is just here to be like, you can choose differently. And excuse me, ma'am, you should be upright. Thank you. Okay. So, just give these a good shuffle. And essentially what we're going to do is start by looking at how the divine has already been at work in your life. So this should also serve as confirmation, because then you may like it. I feel like the divine has been at work in your life in the sense of like kind of helping wear you down to the resistance you have to making the choices that actually serve you, rather than serve those that benefit from exploiting you. But I promise, it's so worth it to do these things, because you really don't want to push yourself to a point where you really have to where you have to spend, I mean, clearly you're harming yourself the way that you're pushing yourself right now. And the divine is really not wanting that for you and wanting you to be safe and healthy and feel good. So Spirit, the divine, how are you already at work in pile 2's life? How have you been supporting them and guiding them on their path, please? We have Temperance. Okay. I love this. So the divine has already been at work. This is kind of basically what I've already been saying. The divine has been at work by making it harder for you to push extremes, by starting to make you aware of the fact that the way you've been doing things no longer satisfies you or no longer eases the discomfort in the way that maybe it did before. Like maybe you genuinely felt good when you people pleased, or you felt like you were doing something right, and now like as you're healing, as you're growing, as you're loving yourself, you're like, wait a minute, this is like really draining and it doesn't serve me. But then you're battling between your authenticity and your conditioning, and it's like, what do you choose? More often than not, we choose our conditioning, and it's a process of unlearning, and it requires patience. But the divine is at work in your life by helping temper you so that you don't push yourself to such an extreme that you're harmed worse or harmed at all. I mean, I feel like no matter what, we do kind of cause harm to ourselves whenever we make decisions that betray ourselves, but like the impact of that harm differs depending on the choice, where we're at, and so many different factors. But I feel like the divine is also in your life in ways that they're helping you find the right guidance. Hello, hi, honored to be part of that, honored to be part of your path, but also getting you in touch and aware of what's actually aligned with you and what gives you a sense of meaning and a sense of purpose. Maybe there are things you've discovered recently, or things you've started to uncover about yourself that feel really aligned with you but don't match the life you're currently living, and there's overwhelm around how do I make that happen. And the divine is saying you don't have to make that happen all on your own. We're here for you, but we can't make that happen if we don't start making changes. I really feel like the divine, like I said, they've been showing up in your life to help create more balance where you've been creating extremes, and just trying to help temper you until you can temper yourself, so that, you know, you don't run out of fuel, or you don't push yourself to the brink, or you don't have to have like intense bouts of rest. You know, they want you to know that you can do more by doing less, and you can go further by resting and by staying put. Not all the time, but you know what I mean, until you're ready to move further. Like everything is aligned, and if you've been really beating yourself up for not being able to keep up with what you used to be able to, or if you're feeling like you're the problem or you're a failure for not being able to show up in ways that you used to, just know that that's not a failure on your part. That's actually a success. That's the divine helping you see where you showing up is not helpful to you and is not serving you. So yeah, Temperance. Also, Archangel Michael, if you've seen signs of Archangel Michael, that could be significant. But also, I feel like as well, just any signs that you've been getting from the universe, like I feel like they are confirmed here in this Temperance. And I also feel like if you ever just feel this little, like, I don't know how to describe it, but just this little shift in your heart, or this little like swell of love, just know that's like the divine like sending you love, or just wanting you to feel how loved you are. And yeah. Okay, let's see how the divine wants to connect with you. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just a way you can more consciously connect with the divine that they're recommending. So how can pile 2 connect with the divine more consciously in their own life? Oof, that flew. We have the King of Pentacles. So ambitious, generational wealth, natural leader. So this King of Pentacles could be you, but also if there is someone in your life that you look up to and respect, that is like a leader or someone that you admire, someone that has a connection to their spirituality that you respect, spending time with them could be a really beneficial way for you to connect with the divine. Maybe seeing the divine in someone who has grounded their divinity in earthly ways, and, you know, sets healthy boundaries for themselves, and has set themselves up for success. Maybe they could be a very powerful form of support for you. I feel like also though, you know, the divine wants you to see that the changes that are being asked of you are not only possible, but they can lead you to far more fruitful positions in life. So maybe, for example, this is a boss or someone that has done really well for themselves, and maybe talking to them about, you know, the sacrifices they've made in terms of like, oh yeah, well, you know, I wasn't able to do as much with friends, or, you know, I had to make sure that I had like good people in my life that weren't taking advantage of me. Like, I just feel like someone that, you know, has the same ambition that you do, but is maybe further along on their path, they could be a powerful source of divine connection for you, because not only are they connected with the divine themselves, but they've also used that divinity to empower themselves in earthly ways, which I think the divine is wanting you to learn from. But also, this King of Pentacles could be talking about a self aspect where through connecting with the divine, you start to build up your ambition, you start to create visions for yourself, you start to take the lead in your own life and have the courage to do so. It could also be like if you're setting the foundations for generational wealth, or if you're already in this King of Pentacles position, you can more consciously connect with the divine by, instead of using that position to just provide for others and be what others need, take the lead in your life and say, okay, I've given a lot of myself to others. Now, how can I use this ambition, which got me here in the first place, to further myself? What more do I want? How can I plant seeds for the future? How can I, for example, how can I create a safety net so I can rest when I need to? Or how can I create more rest in my day? How can I take the lead in my life from a place of patience and gentle nurturing? I feel like no matter what, this King of Pentacles is here to let you know that the divine could be bringing in people that will help you connect with these elements of self. Because if you're not in this King of Pentacles energy, someone with King of Pentacles energy that is grounded, practical, stable, supportive, understanding, but also, you know, successful, financially stable, ambitious, a leader, all those things, they could be really helpful in connecting to the divine, because, you know, we all have divinity within us, and sometimes one of the best ways to connect with it is through another person. And so whoever that is for you, and even if you don't know them yet, just know if you don't know them, the divine is bringing them to you. Maybe there are some you already know and some that the divine is bringing in, but I just heard like attracts like, and the universe is really encouraging you to surround yourself with people that mirror the things that you want to be and mirror the things you want to experience. And obviously not in a way that is copying them, but that is inspired by them, and that you can use as concrete evidence to your mind when it doesn't want you to rest or it doesn't want you to take a risk. You can be like, see, they did it, and it helped them. Like, I know it's okay to set boundaries with this person or say no to this, because I'm saying yes to me. I'm saying yes to this opportunity, and I've seen the direct evidence that when you choose you know, you get more in return. I definitely think that by seeing people that have been where you've been and come out on the other side and thrived, I feel like that could be really helpful for you. So these don't even have to be people that you know personally. They could be people that you come across in media, though I will be really careful with that. I would be really careful with that, because obviously, like, we don't see everything, and media has this way of shaping things in a way that's like, things were bad, but now they're all better. And it's like, you know, life is a lot more complex than that, and like, we can be experiencing wins and losses at the same time. Like, things can be bittersweet and lots of things can be happening. So I feel like you're just being called to cultivate the aspects of self that you see in others that you're inspired by, and also spend time with those people and let those powerful energies rub off on you and support and empower you. Okay, now I want to see blessings the divine is already bringing you, and I want to stress that these blessings are not blessings that you earned. They're just blessings that you're going to receive because you're you, and the divine loves you and wants to bless you. So Spirit, what blessings are coming to pile 2 that you want to make them aware of? Ah, okay, beautiful. We have the Hermit. So the blessing coming to you is the opportunity to actually dive deep beneath the surface and go within. This is time for you to introspect, time to discover, and also just time for you to hear yourself think and get in touch with what your essence is, to find your light or rediscover it if you've been lost from it. I also feel like you might find that if people typically, if you find that you have a lot of incoming communication, you may find that that dissipates and you don't understand why. And it may be that like the divine has even orchestrated it so that like people that would typically call upon you are busy or they're distracted or whatever it may be. And it's almost like the stars are aligning outside around you to help you go within. I feel like the universe is going to be really supportive in this process of you diving deep and going within and nourishing yourself. So I think a really powerful form of nourishment for you is going to be meditation. But I also think this blessing is a stronger connection with your own inner light, a stronger connection with your own divinity, and the ability to communicate more consciously with your own subconscious and with the universe at large. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to reflect on where you've been and decide, okay, what do I want to keep? What do I want to let go of? What works for me? And asking yourself what works for you from a place of authentic truth. That's not, well, what works for me won't work for it. If you are assessing things based on what works for someone else and not yourself, obviously besides like children and things like that, but even then, even if you're a parent, it does not serve you to be so self-sacrificing to your children that your needs go completely unmet. So be aware of that as well. I have heard that parent shame is really intense and it can be hard to care for yourself, but just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not impossible. And you are modeling something very powerful and important by showing your kids that you need to be there for yourself too. So just keep that in mind. But more than anything, these blessings are leading to insights and more awareness within you. And I think that you could receive a lot of healing in meditation, that you don't even need to consciously understand what's being healed or what's happening, but you will still receive the benefits. I feel like the blessing is getting clear on where you actually want to go so that you're not following someone else's path or unconsciously moving forward to a place that wouldn't serve you. The universe is giving you this wake-up call because they want you to see that life is most powerfully lived when we're allowing ourselves to be authentic with what's true for us and what will actually serve us. And if we don't know what that is, we need time to explore that and time to search and time to be on our own. And I think, maybe one thing you might be really afraid of is being on your own in your internal world. So I would recommend like guided meditations or something like that, where, someone else is doing the meditation for you and you just have to listen. I will say, for example, Alana Fairchild, the woman who wrote this deck, as well as the Mother Mary deck and many, many other wonderful decks and books that I just highly recommend checking her out if you feel drawn to do so. She does awesome meditations. She has like a really nice voice, so it's very calming. But guided meditations in general could just be really helpful for you because then you're technically not alone. And truthfully, you're never alone, but maybe you're just really uncomfortable being alone with yourself because you feel like you can't control your thoughts, or that, your thoughts will consume you, and they won't. And what you'll realize is that you are not your thoughts, and that, in fact, you are far more powerful than your thoughts ever will be. Your spirit, your heart, the divine beings that support you and love you, they are all working for your highest good, and they want you to do the same. I feel like even more blessings to come you will experience as you start to follow what's true for you. I feel like life will get easier, you'll have more energy, and you'll just be more excited and have more passion for life again. But now I want to look at an aspect of yourself the divine wants to highlight as sacred. So whether this is a part of self you feel ashamed of or a part of self that maybe you suppress, there's something about you the divine wants you to see as sacred. So Spirit, what aspect of pile 2 do you want them to honor about themselves and see as sacred? We have the 5 of Pentacles. Poverty, hardships, and misfortune. Okay, so this is a bit contentious, right? People feel lots of different ways about their pain, about their struggles, and about the parts of themselves that they are not, about the parts of their life or their experiences that they may find very painful. However you feel about those experiences is yours. And I feel like this Five of Pentacles is really talking about the fact that, you know, no matter how you've experienced this Five of Pentacles energy through poverty, hardships, misfortune, like that does not determine your worth. And in fact, the struggles that you've gone through make room for you to have not only more compassion for yourself, but to other beings as well. Unfortunately, where we are at in the world, like there is just a lot of misfortune, poverty, and hardship. And the assumptions we create about ourselves because of those experiences can be really harmful and really painful. I feel like if you look at a lot of like your pain and you see it as shameful, or you see it as, you know, something that you feel like you need to hide or you feel like you need to avoid, I feel like the universe is asking you to embrace the pain that comes from past pains or from hardships you're currently experiencing. And I don't mean embrace in terms of like, oh, this hurts and it's awesome, but rather embrace from like an acceptance of like, yeah, I'm in pain. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Yeah, I don't have much to give right now. Yeah, I'm still very hurt by these things from my past, like, or in your present. I feel like this Five of Pearls is meant to honor that you are just as loved when you are in the throes of pain and hardship versus when you're in a place of, you know, rapture, affluence, abundance, which, like, let's be clear, like, I feel like if you have viewed your worth or as like you'll be more worthy when you have more money, or like maybe what you're trying to prove is like to have enough to prove to others that you're worthy. And I feel like the divine wants you to know like you've always been worthy, and it hasn't been related to the clothes you wear on your back or the type of bed you sleep in. It just has to do with the fact that you have a beating heart. And unfortunately, humans right now are stuck in systems that benefit a few people at the expense of basically everyone else. And that doesn't make you more or less divine or more or less, you know, doesn't make you better or worse. It just means you're a different person with different experiences. And I feel like there are parts of you, and I think here's the thing as well. I feel like there are parts of you that you're very ashamed of. And these are the messy parts of you, the parts of you that were created in order to survive whatever hardships you faced. And I feel this like called to once again say, like, I'm not telling you to like just like embrace the painful experiences you have, or say that like, oh, it's okay that these painful, harmful things happen to me. Like, no, they may very well not be okay, but they did happen. And things, and there were coping mechanisms and responses that your body created in order to survive, that your mind created in order to survive. And those things are still there, like those coping mechanisms, those ways of being, those messy behaviors, like those are there because you were just trying to survive. And they're not shameful. Like, I think what's shameful is just, you know, the fact that we're not kinder to each other, and that we're not, there's a difference between healthy shame and unhealthy shame. Like, if you steal candy from a baby, like, yeah, you should be kind of ashamed of that. Like, if you kick a dog, you should be ashamed of that. Like, that is a terrible thing to do. But, you know, shame for being imperfect, shame for example, holding on to possessions because you're afraid of losing them, or holding on to people-pleasing patterns because you're afraid of not being accepted in your environment, or whatever behaviors, habits, belief systems you've developed as a result of your pain and hardships, the divine wants you to see them as sacred, in the sense that these were the systems your body, mind, and soul implemented in order to keep you safe. And now the universe is clearly saying these things are now not keeping us safe. They're actually keeping us from thriving. And by honoring those parts of self that came about to keep you safe, you can recognize that you shouldn't be ashamed of them or ashamed of what you needed to do in order to survive, but rather realize, like, yeah, that's part of being human. That's part of, struggling. That's part of, adapting to survive. And once again, the universe is saying it's time to adapt again so that you can thrive instead of just survive. And I feel like the universe wants you to look at these experiences in a way that brings you the most healing, in a way that brings you the most peace, and whatever that is valid for you. But I feel like what they're really highlighting here is the parts of you that came about that you may not be proud of, that you may want to push away, or that you may believe are shameful and that you need to get rid of in order to be worthy of love or be worthy of good things in this world, are not things that you need to be ashamed of or push away in that way. Like, they may be things that need to be rebalanced and healed and shifted, but those behaviors in general and those coping mechanisms and whatever it may be, those things came about as a way to help you survive, and you shouldn't be ashamed of them. Like, it's like, for example, when you're a child and you're in like an environment that is too painful to be in, or that is really hard, oftentimes in order to feel safe, children will kind of disassociate and kind of go into their own fantasy worlds as a way to cope with reality. And then, the child grows up and is an adult, but they may have no clue how to not dissociate anymore when they're overwhelmed or when they're not feeling safe, because that's what they've always done. And so then it becomes a lot harder for them to do things differently, because they may not even know that they're dissociate. Like, they may not even be aware of the pattern of the problem. And so I feel like what Spirit is really saying is this is why this time alone is so important, so that you can start to look at these aspects of self with more love. So, like, for example, the disassociation thing, that may not be for you, but like, it's just an example. You can realize, like, oh, my need to escape is not something I need to be ashamed of. Like, there were things that I needed to escape that were very harmful, and I needed this aspect of self in order to survive. But now, anytime I face discomfort, or anytime I trying to make a change and I don't feel safe, it's just easier to go back there, and I can't face life. I can't move forward because I'm running away from it when it gets scary or uncertain. And so I feel like what Spirit is really saying is you deserve to honor all parts of your story and all parts of self as sacred, because they've all come about for a reason. And some things that serve us for a time don't serve us anymore. And I feel like as well, you need to recognize that you're no less loved or no less special because of what you've gone through. And no human leaves this earth unscathed, and we're all dealt different cards, no pun intended. But you are a powerful soul, and your worth is not based in what you have or who you know. It's based in how you feel about yourself and what you are willing to accept. And, sometimes we need to, I'm not even going to push that further, because I don't want to go down a slippery slope and say anything that, it can be kind of tricky talking about these sorts of things, and I just don't want to say anything that could be potentially invalidating to your pain or your experiences. So no matter what, you are sacred. But the parts of self that you are really ashamed of, or that you feel like you need to fix, and maybe they do need to change, those parts are sacred too. Those parts came about to protect you, because even if you didn't love yourself, they loved you enough to keep you safe so that the harm didn't exist further. And they're still just trying to do that. And so once you're able to look at them from a different perspective and be like, okay, you served me, thank you, it's time to do things differently, that can be really helpful. You might want to look into like doing like soul retrieval or inner family systems therapy, something that involves healing with a shaman, something that involves like soul retrieval or calling parts of yourself back and just like shifting, I think all of that can be very beneficial for you. But just know that you know, you are no less divine than someone else because of what you've gone through, and it doesn't matter how messy or broken you perceive yourself to be. The divine will welcome you with open arms no matter what, and the divine wants you to see that you are just as sacred when you are collapsed on the floor in the throes of pain and anguish as you are when you are at complete peace and a heightened state of bliss. They're all divine parts of the experience, and you are just as divine no matter what stage you're at. We love you, and I love you so much. Okay, so let's go ahead now. I looked at the back of the deck, and it's the Eight of Wands, fast movement, incoming messages, taking action. And I think that you underestimate how much like just a little bit of rest will go a long way, and how just a little bit of awareness will create profound change. You are very capable of healing on personal levels. That doesn't mean you shouldn't open yourself up to other sources of healing, but I feel like you underestimate how little it will take for you to make these shifts, and you will realize like, wow, like I am very powerful, and these changes not only feel good, but are really supportive. I knew I could do it, because you can do it. I know you can. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see what guidance card, what message/guidance Isis has for you. And so for that, we have the Eye of Horus, awakening divine perception. Okay. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, this one is alphabetical. There we go. Right here. The Eye of Horus brings divine perception, protection, and insight. You are gifted with certain spiritual abilities, including divine sight, that are awakening and growing now, which you will experience in your hermit energy. You have much divine support and protection so that you may grow your abilities and serve others with your divine gifts. Trust your perception and know that you are divinely protected. The Oracle of the Eye of Horus is a stamp of divine encouragement, approval, and protection. If you are wondering about your divine path, about whether you have genuine gifts of healing and insight to share, about whether your inner perception is actually true insight, and whether you will be protected spiritually in certain matters or situations, then this Oracle is confirmation for you. You also have guidance here that your inner sight is expanding, and it will expand more the more you work with it. Yet again, taking a turn on a higher twist of the spiral of perception. These are the gifts of higher clairvoyance, pure knowing, divination, and divine communion, and they all flow in truth from the fountain of the heart. You can expect these gifts to grow as a result, to see with even more detachment, accuracy, and clear knowing. It is important that you trust this inner sight and come from your heart. This will ensure that your sight is accurate and helpful. Inner sight will never judge or harm another, but it will certainly help you discern the underlying truth of situations and relationships so that you can make wise decisions. This oracle is confirmation that you have spiritual gifts of healing and perception that can serve your own life path. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you can do a lot of healing on your own without even realizing it. That can serve your own life path and that of others when you use them from love. Trust that Horus will protect you as you move forward on your path, and that opportunities will come at the perfect time. The divine sun will shine on you, gifting you with your time in the sun. So have faith, beloved. This oracle is confirmation that the divine is looking out for you and will guide and protect you through your intuition. Your inner voice will tell you everything you need to know in a timely manner. Finally, this oracle is also an indicator of a triumph over darker energies and emotions. And maybe that's just it. Maybe this Five of Pentacles is more so just darker energies and emotions that you've been experiencing. And just know that, like, you are not any less divine for having negative emotions. It's just part of being human. And just know that you can be grateful and feel like shit. You can be grateful and hate life at that moment. You can be grateful and be unhappy. Like, I feel like sometimes there's this belief kind of pushed, whether consciously or unconsciously, that in order to be grateful, we have to be at peace or we have to be happy. But like, you can be grateful and still struggling. Like, that's okay. Whether you've been struggling with psychological darkness, unfulfilling habits, patterns of subversive or undermining behavior with yourself, or from toxic patterns with others, or with organizations or groups within society, Know that you will triumph, and the sun, the truth, the light will prevail. Pray for protection, clear insight, and trust your inner guidance. You will triumph in light over any darkness. Your success and growth are assured. It is, and I know you're going to get there. So there is a little blessings thing that you can do. I'm going to hold this up. If you want to hold onto it, you can screenshot that. Yeah, so this is a longer one, so you may want to like screenshot and record it and listen back to it, or you can do it by just like pausing this. But also there's an incantation that you can say at any time. You may want to write it down so that you can say it and keep invoking this energy. But yeah, I would hold on to these 2 pages because they could be really beneficial for you and supportive for your growth. I'm just gonna keep this up for 2 more seconds. And let me give you the first page again, just in case you need to screenshot that as well. But pile 2, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read for you. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. I'm not a monster. I don't expect you to watch them, but by just letting them play in the background, you are helping me so much. But if you'd like to help me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my intro squad and my notification squad. I love you guys so much. If you'd like to check out my candles, be sure to use code XO10 for 10% off. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, and you can also check out my other videos and other piles. But that's all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Malachite stone and the Sacred Earth Oracle, then this is going to be your reading on messages from the divine to you. So for your guidance messenger, you chose Mother Earth. So we're first going to shuffle a card for you that will be your end of the reading guidance message. The rest of these messages do not have to come from exclusively Mother Earth. They can come from any divine being that loves you unconditionally. But just letting you know that there. So feel free to just kind of focus and set your intentions that Mother Earth give you the information you most need to hear right now. So for pile 3, Mother Earth, what would you like pile 3 to know at this time? That could be aligned with their highest good, please. Okay, so we're gonna leave this bad boy off to the side. And to confirm that this is your reading, we're gonna look at what the divine needs you to know most right now. And if that resonates, then that means this reading is meant for you. And if it doesn't, I would try a different group. So we have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. We have cleansing, releasing the old, energetic tune-up, new beginnings, and rose without thorns. You have a right to your joy, peace, sweetness of life. This is really beautiful, and I feel like the divine is coming in to let you know that it is time for you to let your little light shine, and not just inside of you, hidden away where you can keep it safe. I feel like you're probably in a transition phase right now where you're ready to start expanding and coming out of your shell more. And if you've been in a really hermity phase, maybe coming out of your house more, or whatever your cave is, more often. But I feel like this is also an unapologetic level of self-respect where you no longer allow the negativity and distorted beliefs of the world to rob you of your right to enjoy life. Now, obviously, there are horrible things happening in the world, and any normal human being with a heart is going to be bothered and disturbed by them. And that's absolutely like normal and just a sign that you're a compassionate person. Unfortunately, though, sometimes we can use that as an excuse not to extend compassion to ourselves, or to not allow ourselves to savor, the parts of life that are good for us, that we do enjoy, or that we do have the privilege of experiencing that maybe others don't. I feel like the divine is here to tell you that that space the space that you don't take up will be left wasted by holding out for your presence. The spaces you're wanting to enter into and take up space in, they're meant for you. And I feel like what the universe is really saying is it's time to stop waiting for people to give you approval to enjoy your life and to start making the decisions that do that. Especially because if you do look to people for approval to enjoy your life, depending on who those people are, they may not have your best interests at heart and they may not want you to enjoy your life. I hope you don't have people like that around you. But if you do, that should be an important wake-up call to maybe who is taking up unnecessary space. More than anything, though, this is a beautiful time where you're, I think, integrating a lot of healing that you've been doing, whether consciously or unconsciously, because we heal unconsciously. You don't have to consciously think about healing a cut, for example. You know, the body heals naturally, and we can heal naturally in other ways as well. But I also feel like you may be overwhelming yourself with your own expectations of how you think you need to show up. And I think that there is still this bout of perfectionism that you're struggling with, where maybe you feel like, okay, I will come out, but like, I want everything to be just right first. Or I will, oh, maybe for some of you that was really literal. Obviously, that's your journey and you do what feels right for you. But this is a time of you gearing up for a new beginning that is a lot sweeter and a lot more enjoyable. And even if things aren't changing very much outside of you, the internal changes you're experiencing and integrating will allow you to enjoy your external surroundings with more depth and more appreciation than you have in the past. You know, if you're the type of person to feel guilt and shame for, you know, having good things in life and you know, having a beautiful life, like, those are not things you should feel ashamed of. Those are things that you should savor and hold on to, because, you know, there are a lot of terrible things in the world, and we need those reminders that there are beautiful things in the here and now. And, you know, not everything we see that's shown to us is always the accurate truth. Not that the things themselves aren't bad, but that, you know, we don't see a lot of the good, wonderful things that happen in the universe, and, you know, the acts of kindness and, you know, just the acts of love that happen around us all the time that we don't see. You know, there are acts of malice and hate and horrible things, and I'm sure you see them all the time, but that doesn't mean that you have to accept them or engage with them or take them on as truth. You know, you can objectively acknowledge like the harmful things happening without, you know, buying into hateful rhetoric or believing that you need to self-flagellate because of, you know, horrible things outside of your control or anything like that. You know, I also think that you're really being asked to kind of check in with yourself and see, you know, what truths am I ready to put to power and use my voice with. You know, the universe is saying you have something to say, you have things to share, and you have beauty to express in the world and that people need to receive. Like, life needs you. And I feel like I'm so glad that you chose Earth as your messenger, because Earth is really saying, hey, I need you. I need you to be here in whatever way you know in your heart you're meant to show up more. I need you to trust that there is a reason why you're not comfortable staying small. I need you to trust that there's a greater purpose to you having these blessings. And part of them is just that you deserve to be blessed. You deserve to feel good. And it's by doing that that we can also share that experience with others and understand that, you know, blessings multiply. And by accepting our own, we can bless others as well. And you deserve to do that. More than anything, though, trust your inner voice. Trust where it's leading you. And trust that things will never be the same. Things are changing in beautiful ways, but it will take time. These changes are not moving at the speed of light. They're moving at the speed of Earth, and that takes a little bit of time. And there's this message here about not underestimating the small wins. You know, just choosing to do something differently or showing up in a different way. You know, these small changes that seem minuscule are having huge impacts, and you will see those impacts down the line. But what the universe is really saying is it's time for you to claim your right to enjoy your life. because you can both do that and also be aware of the horrors that persist in our reality. And the more you allow yourself to savor the sweetness of life and not beat yourself up and feel ashamed for that, the more you can actually hold space and make tangible difference in maybe some of those horrors. So, you know, I feel like the universe is really saying, we're not giving you these beautiful gifts and this beautiful heart wisdom so that you can hoard it all for yourself. We're giving you this so that you can share it with the world, and you will be protected through that process. And that doesn't mean you won't ever feel pain. You know, we can put sunscreen on and still get a sunburn, but that doesn't mean that you can't handle that discomfort and that you're not capable of facing it. Does that make sense? But if that resonates and sounds like a message you needed to hear, we're gonna go ahead now and start pulling your tarot cards. I feel like I just stack those all the same way. I don't really care though. It's more of an internal tick than trying to actually change how the cards are shuffled. So yeah. But with that being said, I do just quickly want to thank all of you guys that take the time to support me. Whether that's through liking or commenting or letting the ads play in the background. Hey, you want to share your voice, maybe share some love and positive encouragement to the fellow pile 3ers in the comments section. That's a beautiful way to multiply blessings, you know, and share love and community with the people that also have this message, because you're not alone in this. You're not the only human who is going through this right now. There are other incredible humans all over the world that are dealing with this too, and not only are you not alone, but you have more power. You all have more power than you realize, individually and together. And I just think that's so beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna start by looking at how the divine is already at work in your life and how it's already been showing. So Spirit, how have you been showing up in pile 3's life? How have you been at work? We have the 2, beautiful. Whenever I see crossroads, I just think of the Britney Spears movie. Okay, that is very close to being naked, so I'm gonna have to, all right, okay. Editing Xoxo here. I'm so sorry, but I did not realize until I finished your reading that the title parts of the tarot cards were cut off while I was doing your reading. So I went ahead and pushed them up at the end, and I'll put a timestamp of where you can see the cards in full. But I just wanted to apologize in advance and let you know the only thing that you're missing is just the names of the cards throughout the reading. But I wouldn't check that out until the end unless you want to be spoiled about the other cards I drew. Okay, that's all. Thanks for being here. I love you. I hope you're enjoying your reading. We'll put that there because I am not trying to make the YouTube gods mad at me. Please, my corporate overlords, do not punish me. I am just but a lowly card reader. Okay, with this 2 of Wands, I think this is beautiful. And this is kind of shown up. If you're drawn to any of the other groups, you may want to check those out. But Spirit has been showing up in those moments of not necessarily make or break, but in those moments of choice, and also in your future plans and visions. You know, if you feel like things have been starting to like come together in ways where, you know, a goal you once had seems so far off into the future you couldn't even figure out how to get there, but now it seems more manageable, and like you're starting to see the steps that are required for you to get there, like the trail is almost clearing. I think that is something that I think that is one way the divine is showing up, by like giving you inspiration and helpful hints on choices to make that will lead you where you want to go. But I also think that the divine is showing up in ways that are really pushing you to make the decisions that are less comfortable, but more expansive and more empowering. So I feel like the divine is really working with you and working with your spirit in a way where the more you take action that's aligned with the authenticity of your spirit and you envision the actions you want to make, the more spirit is matching that with inspiration in ways you can take that action, and also in a sense of direction. And you may not know like where that direction is leading you, but you know in your heart you can trust it. Does that make sense? It's like this very beautiful, it's kind of like Marco Polo. If you've ever played that pool game, it's just a game where someone closes their eyes and they are trying to find other people around them And so they yell Marco, and then the people that they're trying to capture or find yell Polo. And so they have to find them with hearing rather than through seeing. So maybe clairaudience is maybe you're hearing directions or hearing music that's giving you guidance and inspiration, but it's almost like you may not be able to see where exactly you're headed, but you can feel and sense it's in the right direction. And I would take that as confirmation that the divine is helping you, and you're already doing amazing, sweetie, and there's nothing you really need to worry about. Just keep trusting and keep going, and know that everything is flowing in the perfect time and the perfect way. You're not behind, you're not ahead, you're exactly where you need to be. And I just had a little mini burp, so maybe you had some stress about that. Okay, let's look at how the divine wishes to connect with you. So this is not something you have to do, but if you want to connect more consciously with the divinity within and around you, this is a way that they're suggesting it. So Spirit, how can Pile 3 connect with the divine spirit within them and around them that they are always connected to? How would you like to connect to Pile 3? Wow, okay. This also came out in Pile 2. So Pile 2 specifically, you may be really drawn to. If that's the case, feel free to check it out. If not, that's also fine. But one way that you can more consciously connect with the divine is by connecting with people that you wish to emulate or that are already embodying the experience you wish to have. I feel like there are certain mentors or certain people that have guidance for you that could be really empowering and help you realize that, like, even the people that you feel like have it all figured out still don't have it figured out, and that they're just doing the best they can with the knowledge they have. But I also think that this is a call for you to cultivate your King of Pentacles energy, you know, the energy of someone who is practical, stable, generous, abundant, ambitious, and unapologetic about going after their goals. I definitely feel like you are meant to have success in a very grounded and earthly way. And your understanding of cultivation through the material is one that is meant to develop alongside your spiritual growth. And so I feel like this King of Pentacles is kind of spirit saying, we want to connect with you every day in ways that you are, through ways that you are becoming the version of yourself you've always wanted to be, and becoming the version of yourself that maybe you don't entirely know who they are yet, but they embody, you know, the qualities that you really admire and the qualities you see yourself having as an older, wiser version of yourself. But I also think that Spirit is asking you to trust yourself more and trust where you've been. I feel like there is this call for you to recognize that you're already very capable of consciously connecting with the divine. It's about how you do it and what tools or what methods and techniques in which you do it. And if those methods and techniques aren't supporting you and nourishing the person you're becoming, then making switches and changes to a different kind of method or technique that works for you instead. More than anything though, I feel like this is a real call for you to not feel like you have to do it alone. And if you haven't found mentors or people that you can look up to or seek as a source of guidance, you know, maybe pray for that, manifest that. But also when it comes to like figures that you look up to in the greater media landscape, I would say use a little bit of discernment and remember that like you're not seeing their whole life. So, you know, people usually talk about their successes, not their failures, and it may be really easy for you to get overwhelmed and feel like you're behind because you're not where someone else is, but you don't know where they started, and you also, everybody's path and journey is different. And so I feel like part of connecting with the divine is realizing that you don't need someone else's path in order to find your own. You are more than capable of forging your own. And in fact, I think you're already doing that, and you just need to trust that more so than, you know, allow yourself to be defeated by doubt and stuckness and stagnation. And even when you feel stagnant, know you're still moving, even if it's really slow. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's look now at blessings the divine is already bringing you. So these are things that you have not had to earn, but these are just things the divine wishes to bless you with, that all you have to do is receive. So What blessings would you like to give pile 3, please? What blessings are you blessing pile 3 with? We have the 3 of Pentacles. Group dynamics, collaboration, celebration. So I definitely feel like if you are trying to manifest friendships, partnerships, collaborative partners, collaborative groups, a job change, a lifestyle change, these are all things that are happening in your life. I feel like you're going to be getting more support, and if you've been wanting to spend more time with friends or meet new people, this is going to be an awesome time for that. I also feel like you are going to be able to step up more. So, for example, you might be given more responsibility in your school or your workplace or in your home, in your community. You might also have the opportunity to be like a leader in some type of cohort, or you might have the opportunity to find group dynamics that are very healing and supporting and nourishing for the person that you're becoming. So these blessings are either finding these communities and discovering where collaborative connection is going to be beneficial to you. And if you already know where those spaces are, you could be bringing more in, but it could also be that the universe is blessing you with more time and energy to dedicate to those groups and to those dynamics. So this is really awesome. And I think more than anything, this is a beautiful opportunity for you to continue building who you're becoming. And this is really solid, grounded growth. And I feel like what Spirit is really saying is that you can trust the people that are coming into your life, and you can trust the discernment. Like with this, share your voice and come out of your cave. I feel like Spirit is really asking you to open yourself up to life more, because there are amazing people that, you know, will impact your life in positive ways, and you will impact theirs in positive ways. And they will give you the type of connection that you've been craving, and you'll realize like, oh, it's not impossible to have, you know, grounded, well-rounded individuals be supportive of me, and vice versa. Like, you can have pure supportive connection with people, and I think that the universe is bringing those people in, or giving you more time and energy to spend with those people. So that's really beautiful. And I think that Spirit is really saying, you know, give yourself a break and let yourself go have fun, especially in those times when you feel like you should, you know, be responsible and do the right thing and make sure everything is done and that you don't have dishes. Like, fuck the dishes. Go have fun with your friends. The dishes will be there when you get back. They're not going anywhere. Like, they'll be fine. And I think Spirit is just asking you to be a little less hard on yourself and, you know, give yourself some grace. Like, I just heard in my head, damn, dude, give yourself some grace. So, yeah, give yourself some grace. But now I want to look at an aspect of yourself that the divine wants to highlight as sacred, that you may not recognize as sacred, or that you may be embarrassed or ashamed of. So, what aspect of self for pile 3 is sacred that they don't recognize, please? Ah, we have the Wheel of Fortune. This is so beautiful. I feel like the necessary shifts that you've been waiting for are coming, especially with the Hanged Woman on the back of the deck. But with the Wheel of Fortune here, this time that you've spent in your cave, this time that you've spent healing, staying away from the outside world, going within and really addressing your shadows, like, it has been a sacred time for you. And even though it may be psychologically stressful, or it may be something that you felt very frustrated and ashamed by, the divine wants you to understand that it's just been part of a greater cycle. And that, you know, this cycle is part of, you know, is part of life. And that's part of what makes it divine. Like, you're not meant to be at a high all the time, and you're not meant to be at a low all the time. The wheel is always turning. And I feel like the divine wants you to understand that every version of you is just as sacred as the version of you that you are now. They've all carried you to who you are now, and they're all very beautiful, valid aspects of self, even though you may not see them that way. Like, I think it's normal to cringe at our old self, and like, you know, that's just a sign that we've grown. But, you know, you needed that version of yourself to get to where you are now, and you need who you are now to get to where you need to be. And I feel like the divine wants you to understand that You know, judging yourself for your past mistakes or judging yourself for behaviors that you don't align with anymore really isn't going to serve you at all, or the person you're becoming, because you're not even recognizing that those mistakes are what made you realize they weren't the move, they weren't the vibe, they weren't for you. And these all happened in the perfect time, in the perfect way. And I feel like one aspect of self you need to honor is your own timing and your own rhythms. Your own timing and your own rhythms will not match the expectations of the outside world. And it takes a strong soul to be able to honor those. Trust me, I know how hard that is. You know, YouTube's harassing me all the time to upload more. But if I did that, I would be honoring you know, earthly attachments over my body, heart, soul, and brain's needs. So, you know, it takes a lot of strength to be able to forego what feels comfortable and what feels safe, to honor what feels right and what honors and respects our well-being and our health and our vitality. And you've been doing that. And even if you've only been doing that because it's been virtually impossible for you not to, like, that is sacred, and that is something that you should honor. And I feel like the universe is saying that, like, you're right on track, you're right on time, you're right where you need to be. Nothing is out of place, nothing has gone wrong, and continue to follow the flow of where you're going, and you will be led exactly where you need to be, and you will realize you were always capable of getting there, and that you didn't need to be so worried. And so I think Spirit is really saying, hey, if you can minimize worry now and just give yourself the gift of enjoying and appreciating the present, I think, and trusting that you're being led to where you're meant to be, I feel like that will be a really helpful aspect of your process. And I love how even on your Sacred Earth card, it's like the earth is this beautiful, it's like a circle tree, and it's like a cycle. And yeah, you're in your own cycles and your own rhythms. Your own rhythms are sacred, and you need to honor them, especially because the outside world is unlikely to honor them for you. They can't know what your timing is, and they can't know what's best for you. And that's why it's so important that you be your own advocate. So, pile 3, let's go ahead and see what Mother Earth wants you to know now. Ooh, we have influence. Where is the book? Oh, there it is. Okay, influence. Balance imagination and reality. Be cautious of giving undue influence to baseless assumption. Distinguish between opinion and evidence. Become aware of false limitations. Put real effort into proving a doubt or fear wrong. Be open to new ideas and perspectives, but do your homework and ensure a claim can hold true in practice as well as in theory. Only through the eyes of the soul can the true nature of your life, existence, and purpose be known. All of life flows from one divine heart of creation. You have a purpose, a meaning, and a role to play in this great journey of life. It may be beyond the knowing of the physical world, but it is not beyond the knowing of your soul. Yeah, and I feel like you've been working on establishing that connection more in this isolation. And so now it's time to start living what you've been learning and start trusting your soul to guide you rather than, you know, continue to look at it as a concept. It's not meant to stay a concept. It's meant to be a lived reality. Imagine boarding a sea vessel and setting off for a grand new venture into the great unknown. You have a fantastic crew, plenty of supplies, and you are looking forward to encountering countless new sights and sounds. You may return home with tantalizing tales. Perhaps you will find a pristine paradise to call home. There is a great world of possibility awaiting you, and you are ready to embrace whatever comes your way. But how different would this journey be if you thought the world was flat? If every night you went to sleep worrying you might slip over the edge, never to return, how would it change your outlook? What would you do differently? Would you dare leave the sight of familiar shores? Believing the earth was flat wouldn't make it so, but it would create false limitations and influence everything about your journey. Likewise, believing you are unworthy, unlovable, or incapable doesn't make it so. Be conscious of the thoughts, opinions, and values that are influencing your journey. Yeah, this is beautiful. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is that this isolation time, Spirit and Mother Earth have been saying, is that this isolation time has been very powerful for you to become able to listen to your own influence and your own guidance and be less influenced by the world around you. And I think the world is saying, hey, you're ready to be a part of the world and stand true to your values and what matters to you throughout that process. You're not only ready, but you can handle whatever challenges come your way, and you will realize you are far more capable than you ever imagined. So pile 3, so beautiful. That's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read for you. Thank you guys. If you'd like to support me in other ways, thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is an excellent way you can support me and show appreciation for my channel. But like I said, if you would like to show support in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch. You can check out my social media. You can check out my thick, juicy ass. Just kidding. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading and it brought you some clarity and peace. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Oh no! I didn't realize, guys, I'm so sorry. Ugh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so pile 3, I'm so sorry that the cards were out of view. If you want to screenshot this and then go back to the reading so that you can see the cards more clearly and more accurately, please feel free to do so. I'm so sorry they were out of frame, and yeah, I hope you can forgive me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I hope you don't eviscerate me, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!